Hi, I'm Ed Smith, the president of Agile Fleet, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you can reap large financial returns, potentially millions of dollars, by maximizing the utilization of your fleet vehicles and selling the unused vehicles. Organizations of every type and size rely on vehicles to perform their jobs. Your fleet of vehicles may be worth millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars. But do you need every vehicle in that fleet? Why should it matter? If you break it down and you look at the cost of just a single vehicle in your fleet, a passenger vehicle, for example, that vehicle may cost you $25,000 in acquisition costs. And if you look at it on an annual basis, it's somewhere probably on the magnitude of $4,000 to $6,000 for depreciation, maintenance, administrative costs, parking spaces, insurance, and the like. So it's important that you understand exactly how many vehicles you actually need in your fleet, since they all cost money. Monitoring utilization can be as simple as driving through a parking lot and noticing that you have too many vehicles. Whether you're using that vehicle or not, that vehicle is costing you money. In fact, an unused vehicle can often cost more money than a used vehicle. A vehicle that sits gets rusted rotors, flat tires, dead batteries that then need to have special attention by your fleet staff. So it behooves us to make sure the vehicles we do have are being used. In today's work climate, vehicles are used less than ever as we've changed to telecommuting and job functions have changed as a result of the world around us. And although the way we use vehicles in our organizations has changed, many organizations have yet to modify their budgets and their way of doing business, way of procuring vehicles. So you may be carrying too many vehicles. They're costing you too much money. How do you solve that problem? Step one is to understand how much money is really involved here. Let's take, for example, a fleet of 500 vehicles. That might be a mid-size size of a county fleet. It might be a large commercial organization, what have you. So 500 vehicles at $25,000 a piece, that represents about $12 million in investment for your organization. It also represents about a $2 million a year carrying cost for depreciation, maintenance, and what have you. So there's a lot of money involved here. Over years, one vehicle, get rid of over 10 years, if I'm doing the math right, is about $50,000 in savings from eliminating just one vehicle from your fleet. There are many different ways to figure out exactly how many vehicles we need and maybe whether we have too many. Just take a look in the parking lot. Every vehicle that's in that parking lot sitting idle costs us about $16 a day for a passenger vehicle. Take a look after a snowstorm. If it's been a week since it snowed and there's still snow on that vehicle, you just paid $16 per day times 7 days. The costs really add up. If your fleet of 500 vehicles run in, let's just say a 50% utilization rate, which is not uncommon during these times that we're in and with job functions haven't changed over the last several years, you have up to $1 million sitting idle in those parking lots every single year. It's time to take a look to see whether you need all of those and what the return on investment could be through a very minor right-sizing fleet initiative. If you're not familiar with the concept of vehicle sharing, it's very straightforward, very simple, and it's easy to implement. A pool of shared vehicles is made available through online reservation system or maybe even a self-service kiosk. Drivers that need a vehicle walk up, check out a vehicle, and return that vehicle without any need for any other human intervention. It's a self-service motor pool. When vehicles are in the self-service motor pool, they're used more consistently. The software that's used to manage that technology can rotate through the fleet of vehicles, so vehicles are used evenly and miles are distributed across all of the fleet, thus lowering maintenance costs. Why is that so good? Why are shared vehicles so much better than the assigned vehicles? Consider this. If you gave me a vehicle to use and it was assigned to me, and I had 5 weeks of vacation, I can guarantee you that vehicle will sit idle for 5 weeks and nobody else can use it. That's 10% of the entire year. If I have holidays, that's additional time. I don't work weekends, so there's another portion of time that vehicle is assigned to me. Nobody else can use it. So 10% for my paid time off, another 28% or so, if I'm doing the math right, for weekends. And that vehicle already, before we talk about how often I need it, is idle for 38% of the time, but you're still paying for it. The tool that you can use to really help understand utilization and to automate your vehicle sharing processes is called a Fleet Management Information System. Our system, called FleetCommander, is exactly such a system. To share, you really need to do three main functions and do them very well. The first function is to schedule and coordinate use of vehicles amongst your team members. You wouldn't want to take a vehicle out when someone else is expecting to use it next. The system takes care of that for you. The next thing is to get the keys in the hands of the driver and get the keys back. That can be done through staffed locations that expect you to come pick up a vehicle, or you can use the capabilities of the system that are fully automated, unattended, self-service vehicle pickup and return. And lastly, the third step in vehicle sharing to be successful is to have a system that generates reports, metrics, dashboards that you need to understand exactly how many vehicles of each type you need at each location. The type of technology we're talking about here is similar but very different than a fixed asset management system, for example. To show you the benefits of technology that really specializes in vehicle sharing, let me talk to you about a situation at the city of Stamford, Connecticut. Several years ago, they contacted the team at Agile Fleet with a problem that they perceived to be underutilized vehicles. The fleet manager that was new to the team there would look out the window every day and see 80 vehicles out in the parking lot, or some subset of those. Those vehicles were assigned out to individuals, or they were assigned out to departments. Fleet manager, once he contacted the FleetCommander team, basically pulled all those vehicles into a centralized pool. And those 80 vehicles that were once assigned out to individual departments were now in that centralized pool. And when they leveraged the vehicle sharing technology, they were able to do the job that previously was done with 80 vehicles with only 20 vehicles. They were able to eliminate 60 vehicles from the fleet without adversely impacting any of the drivers. They always had access to a vehicle. 60 vehicles eliminated. Imagine the cost savings that is to the taxpayers of the city of Stamford, Connecticut. So those cost savings realized by the city of Stamford, Connecticut amounted to over $1.6 million over 5 years. But their cost savings are not unique in any way, shape, or form. Take the county of Forsyth, North Carolina. They, back in 2008, 2009 timeframe, during a financial crisis in the United States, they had an edict that they must reduce their fleet budget by $300,000. They called the Agile Fleet team. They implemented vehicle sharing technology, putting in 4 automated motor pool locations. And in that first year, they actually exceeded the $300,000 cost savings. And for every year since 2008, 2009, they have not had to bear those $4,000 per year costs for every vehicle they eliminated back then. Take it on a larger scale, look at the state of Michigan. Their Department of Transportation Management and Budget manages a centralized fleets of vehicles located throughout the entire state, from a very northern portion of the state all the way down to Detroit, Flint, Escanaba, all over the state. And to date, they've done more than 500,000 vehicle reservations. Imagine how much money they've saved sharing vehicles as opposed to having a vehicle be assigned to every individual or every department located throughout the state. The way we use vehicles today has changed. It's changed across inspectors, assessors, social services, across a wide range of different job functions. Utilization rates are down. On average, across many segments of different governments, for example, utilization rates are 50% of what they used to be. In a university setting, it may be even larger. It's time to look at utilization and eliminate unused vehicles. Thanks for joining me. We'd love to show you how you could potentially save millions of dollars by maximizing the utilization of your fleet vehicles. Call us today, and we'd be happy to provide you with a 5-year cost-saving analysis for your unique fleet.